and welcome to Smart News. Tonight we're talking about North Korea's dictatorship. How long has it been going on? What is happening? Who is the dictator? What is the impact on the people's lifestyle and well-being? All this and more we are going to be talking about.
Dictatorship is run by one person. This means if a decision needs to be made, the dictator is the only one that needs to be convinced, and then they can make the decision. Decision making is therefore very fast, but this is also a weakness. If the dictator decides on something weird or unnecessary, then there are not other people who can veto the decision.
The hierarchy structure for North Korea is very unequally rewarded, both for social status and the economy. The dictator and his family are at the top. Below him are the elite officers of Korean Workers' Party. Then the cadres of Korean Workers' Party, and at the bottom is the most of the population. The politically suspected are at the very bottom. If they have a reputation of negative social or political activity towards the dictator, it will be almost impossible for them to get an education or job.
The trade in North Korea is minimal, being mostly between China and South Korea. South Korea has a growing economy, but its neighbor country North Korea has been near bankruptcy for decades. This could be because they don't pay taxes. 1/4 of the population need food aid, which results in food being sold at the black market. Food is very expensive, and a big part of the population is very poor, being that the average annual income is around 11,000 kroner.
North Korea is being led in dictatorship by Kim Jong-un, who has ruled the country since the 17th of December 2011, the day his father Kim Jong-il died. The family have always been on the throne, and that is how the leader is chosen here.
Kim Jong-il, who led the country for roughly 20 years, is known as one of the worst leaders worldwide. He led his country into communism and as a result became one of the world's poorest countries. He himself was extremely rich and enjoyed expensive wines and caviars while his people starved. Kim Jong-il is the founder of a prison called House 22, which has 50,000 prisoners. All the prisoners in House 22 are there because they disagreed with Kim Jong-il's way of leading the country.
The present leader in North Korea, Kim Jong-un, has only led the country for about a year, and he hasn't had the chance to continue in his dad's footsteps. North Korea is also a very closed country, so it's hard to know what exactly is going on. Journalists have had a really hard time getting into North Korea, so barely information is known about the country and the rest of the world. The police try to track the journalists to avoid them taking pictures or even talking to the North Korean citizens. Now to Sofie, who is in North Korea.
Now we're going to ask some of the North Korean people what the impact on their lifestyle and well-being has been since Kim Jong-un. Hi, I'm...
No, you can't film him. No.
Standing here in North Korea, the roads are almost completely empty of cars and the trains are of very poor quality. The factories and transport in North Korea is not as new as in the modern world, and it causes a lot of pollution, as well as asbestos in some buildings. The soil is deteriorating and is getting harder to grow crops. The majority of the population is dependent on food rations, and if they cannot grow their own crops, it will have consequences for the economy. The water quality in North Korea is very poor. There is not a lot of drinkable water, and the rest of the water is contaminated.
As we said, North Korea is a very closed country, but luckily we did some research of ourselves. Over the past years, the quality of life in North Korea has been plummeting. Reports from people within Korea who go over the Chinese border to inform journalists of the growing population of homeless and hungry people all over North Korea. There were some people interviewed being asked what they ate, and some of them said nothing. The decreasing quality of life is causing people to grow anxious and yearn for freedom. Graffiti and posters demanding freedom have been put up by rebellious people.
There have been reports from people that if they get caught putting flyers up demanding that people be freed, they will be imprisoned. People who have traveled to North Korea have written about North Korea's bizarre laws, such as you are only allowed to call within the country and you're not allowed to contact the outside world. Any person calling someone from South Korea that gets caught will receive a particularly bad punishment due to North Korea's relationship with South Korea.
punishment is a lot more severe if caught calling South Korea, because North Korea and South Korea have had a lot of conflict over many years. After the UN constructed the administration of Korea, they divided it into two zones, the North and the South. At one point, North Korea refused to participate in a UN-supervised election held in the South in 1948, which led to the separation of the country into two different governments. Both claimed the Korean peninsula as a whole, which led to the Korean War. Nowadays, there's still tension between the two countries, with added a few accusations of murder and assassination. That is it for today. See you tomorrow. Smart News. Goodbye.